red-pilled vegan?
As human beings, we must be able to question everything, like the meaning of life. How did we get here, and how birds were created by the United States government to spy on its citizens.
Maybe you've seen the billboard near the Highland Strip or heard the story on Wednesdays Live at 9. A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts to the Mid-South.
They started out with 9/11, they started out with vaccines, they started out with chemtrails or something.
And this morning we are joined by one of the messengers of the movement.
I've repeatedly said, and will repeatedly again in future continue to say, that there is no place in science or whatever for consensus. Ever.
I know that you're in shock after that very off-putting fact. But let me answer a few common questions by the sheeple.
The only thing that is important in science and determining what is objectively true in science is the empirical evidence as interpreted and looked at by a competent scientist who understands the scientific method and the statistical methodology, which I do.
The message of the movement is essentially to spread awareness that from 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise that film us every day as equally as these cameras are filming us right now.
What does the data say? What statistics have been undertaken? Is the study you've got in front of me right now valid, or is it invalid? Can we trust it to any degree to tell us anything about the objective nature of reality or not?
So what do you have to back that up?
To back that up, I have as much evidence as the birds have provided. There's so much.
Obviously, that vegetards don't want to play that game because that fucks them up every single fucking time. Because, boys and girls, truth and logic destroys vegan fucktardery every time.
Where do you normally see birds? That's right, power lines. These foul drones sit on America's power lines, completing a circuit between its 2 feet, charging their batteries.
High-level research, the very thing that we say doesn't exist. There is only research. Some of it is valid and has the ability to be relied upon to be able to make predictions about what we might observe in the objective reality given the manipulation of various different variables. And some of it is not. There is no hierarchy. There is only a delineation between that which is valid and scientifically conducted correctly and that which is not. There are no high-level studies.
I don't know if it's the CIA or the FBI.
Not a single president, from Lyndon Johnson to Donald Trump, opposed the Great Bird Massacre. The massacre occurred until 2001, where the last living bird died. That same year, George W. Bush signed the Patriot Act, enabling the government to spy on its citizens. This was the final piece of the puzzle for the massacre. Now, the bird drones are at full force, watching your every move.
Birds aren't real.
A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts.
It's interesting. I've actually always wondered about this.
Fiber promotes weight loss.
No, it doesn't. There's no evidence for that anywhere in the literature whatsoever.
Don't recognize his name in the science community.
There is, as I say, only one study available on human beings and fiber.
And prevent weight gain.
No.
It stabilizes blood sugar and decreases cholesterol.
So what?
From 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise that film us every day as equally.
And it protects against
and there's no evidence about the blood sugar thing that's remotely good enough, or the cholesterol thing actually.
Constipation and colon cancer.
No, there is no evidence that fiber prevents constipation or colon cancer. None at all. No. Lies.
This is a satirical campaign to make the point that what? You're looking at me like, no, it's not satire. I really do believe this.
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Okay.
Back in the day, they thought Isaac Newton was wrong. And we got gravity.
You're looking at me like, no, it's not satire. I really do believe this.
You shouldn't underestimate this.
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Science. Otherwise, we're guessing at it.
You know, I don't know why the other side of the argument can't be treated with equal respect.
Yeah.
Except that before we came out on air, you said this
That's
is
the whole
a
point of
satirical
science.
message.
It's the
So
search
we-
for the truth.
Science doesn't make guesses. Science establishes what is likely to be true in the objective reality in which we find ourselves on the basis of a statistical inference. And it gives us a level of confidence around that finding.
Man, there is a lot of important information in this video that has important strategic consequences.
That there are no locked metabolic ward experimental studies on human beings that are remotely well controlled or tenured or anything, that they just don't exist. You can't do those kind of studies. You can't experiment on human beings. Therefore, we're guessing. And you're guessing, love, more than most, because you're saying things that are simply not supportable with any evidence.
So what point are you trying to make here? I mean, and why did this movement come about and how?
More bacon for daddy! For God's sake, stop making everyone that eats meat try to feel like the fucking devil. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's fucking annoying. It's so annoying.
You know, we've completed 14 million acres of conservation, and we just completed a $2 billion campaign. All for naught if birds aren't real. And on top of that, I've wasted an entire career working on birds that might not be real. I got to learn more, and I intend to learn a lot more about this, and you should too.
Really, before the internet age, before the internet era, it was very easy to censor ideas and opinions that aren't popular and that people don't agree with. Now that we have the internet, there are no more book burnings, there are no more censored television ads.
Are lawmakers, though, really taking this seriously? Because a lot of people will have their doubts or have their questions about whether or not the movement is really serious or not.
Yeah, that's been a really hard part of this, honestly.
A red-pilled vegan who is a complete fucking asswipe, complete waste of perfectly good oxygen, who is a character who paradoxically calls himself red-pilled vegan. Paradoxical because obviously veganism is the most blue pill thing you can possibly do to yourself. So yeah, just crazy. Anyway, a red-pilled vegan. If you haven't already subscribed to this very fine channel, please do feel free to hit the subscribe button down there. And also, while you're there, don't forget to hit the old bell icon so that YouTube can completely fail to bother to advise you when I put new content out, so that you'll still have to find it for yourself. Anyway, good job, YouTube. Science doesn't make guesses. Science establishes what is likely to be true in the objective reality in which we find ourselves.
I would believe in a flat earth in a heartbeat if there was actual evidence to support that model of how the earth and the solar system work.
I haven't personally been to the ice wall. I've heard people have been turned around at gunpoint for trying to investigate the ice wall independently.
You can send me the Nobel Prize if you like.
Y'all know what time it is. Red pill vegan. Next.